Great rising, my people. Great rising, my people. I greet you as I always greet you in the words of BB Fourier. Um, so this topic here, um, I was kind of careful of how I responded to it because a lot of times you'll respond out of emotion and you're not thinking of you're just responding out of emotion and you're not carefully thinking about your delivery. But I titled this video "The Dangers of the FBA and the ADOS idea or ideology." And for anybody who's been living under a rock for the last couple of few years, the ADOS movement is um, ran by Yvette Carnell, and I think the brother's name is Antonio Moore, and the FBA is ran by the scatterbrain Tariq Nasheed. And I'm gonna be short with this video because I do have another one coming up in a few, but I just wanted to drop a couple of jewels on this one. There has been such a attack, and I'm not saying attack as into make Pan Africanism or African the Pan African movement and vision or African nationalism. I'm not painting it out for us to be picked on or oh, we're under attack. No, that's not my aim here. However, we must tell truth. Um, I don't know if we really understand the ramifications of what will happen if these movements and people like Dane Calloway, people like Tariq Nasheed, people like any of these aboriginals, ADOS, if they keep up with this foolishness. I don't think we really understand because we don't understand culture. We don't understand, first of all, because a lot of times they're listening to YouTube scholars. Um, and I just do videos. So this is not the basis of how I connect with my people, the basis of how I do everything. But I do understand it to be a important and good source. However, the point that I'm making um, is when you're following these kind of like one man, one ideology, one person, even down to speaking of so-called Pan-Africanists, even down to Umar Johnson. I don't think we as Black or African people, or however you want to define yourself, I don't think we really are internalizing what's at stake to be culturally. We're facing cultural extinction. We're facing cultural extinction. And the dangers of these groups are because a lot of times what you hear them say is, we're here first. We were here first. And here's the funny thing, at least from my perspective and a lot of people in my village perspective, no one has ever, it seems like these people are arguing both sides of the argument, that nobody has ever posed against them. Um, there has never been one time where we have said, um, nobody was here before Africans in the so-called Americas. Okay. A couple of things I would like for you guys to fact check. And I want you to understand the difference of when you understand the African worldview and you understand the European worldview. Culture determines how we relate to each other. Culture determines how we see each other, how we treat each other, how we talk to each other. Culture determines our connectedness, if you will. And I'm just going to bring up two. I'm going to bring up, of course, Marcus Garvey. And you foul, Tyreek. Whoever paying you, you're an opportunist and you're foul. We are so divided by these ideologies and these so-called scholars. And one of my quarrels with Tariq Nasheed is the opportunist. This is the same guy that was on Charm School with Miss Monique when in some of the beginning shows that started off reality TV. He was in Charm School. He's had Mackie's Pimping, and if I'm wrong, correct me. Some things I may be incorrect about some of these. It's okay. Mackie's Pimping or The Art of Macking or whatever crap he had years ago. He had that. Okay. It was a lucrative opportunity to him. Okay, being on Charm School with the ladies that was on Flavor of Love. Okay, that was and if anybody wants to understand what episode it was one where it was the Renaissance Man, where they wanted to teach the young ladies to find the different type of guys, and Tyreek was some type of advisor to the females. And I'm not saying you can't have these avenues and go to evolution. That's not what I'm saying. But throughout, I mean, there's been two videos that was done by Tyreek Nasheed that was just horrible. Because when you look at him and you look at his basis, it's very condescending. It's very snarky and it's very arrogant. Even though I don't care too much for Tommy Sotomayor, when he and Tommy Sotomayor had their issues, we have to understand self-hate. And just because you have some consciousness and some level, because there are so many degrees of self-hate. So always be cognizant of these so-called leaders when they get into issues, when they get into disagreements with people. And they will say he got into it. And number one, notice he just kept calling Tommy Sotomayor crispy, burnt crispy, referring to his skin tone. Now, this is Mr. Pro-Black, Mr. Hidden Colors, whatever. We have to listen to a person, the way a person, when they get upset, they'll start insulting their people's features. Oh, you nappy head. Oh, you big nose. And there was two videos. There was one he was on there with a younger guy, and the younger guy was laughing because in his mind he's on here with Tyreek Nasheed, and we see these people as some type of celebrity. But Tyreek Nasheed, first of all, is just being flat out rude to the person. Oh, you ain't no foundational Black American. You ain't know this. You ain't know that. You look like this, and he's going in on the guy's features. Okay. For someone that's trying to bring people out of their sleep, for someone that's trying to bring the people out of their sleep, out of their levels of self-hate, you don't say things like that to a person. You don't insult a person's hair. Because for so many years, we've been teased for having nappy hair. So that was the purpose of a lot of these brothers and sisters running around frying their hair because they don't want to be nappy-headed. Oh, your black skin, which is why skin whitener is at the top of a lot of these so-called, a lot of these confused people's lists. You see every person, definitely a lot of the females in Hollywood, they begin to mess with their nose. They want to destroy their African Black features. And it is supposed to be the conscious or so-called conscious people' job to make them feel better about their nappy hair, about their full lips, about their wide nose. Not to insult it. But we've been so accustomed to the nigga shit and the nigga behavior, so we don't understand true Iwapele. We don't understand true character. Notice we have gotten so mental sidle that they are telling, we have black people telling other Africans, go back to Africa, go back to where you come from. Because we think, some of these people think that America is all that they need. So again, where did America get its origin from? And please don't come on here with that. Africa got its name from Scipio African. Please don't. Go study some Dr. Bean. Stop with these people. We keep regurgitating. That's how these lies get going. We keep regurgitating the same lie over and over. America got its name. That's another video. I just want to talk about this right now. I'll come back. I probably will address that in the next video coming up. But let's stop saying Africa got its name from that. He took on the name when he conquered. He took on the name. So let's stop. But the dangers of this, the dangers of the ADOS movement, you have a lesbian. You have a lesbian at the forefront of this telling you who you are. Tariq Nasheed has a whole Jewish European mother-in-law that lives in his house. I don't know if she lives in his house. That could be wrong. But she frequents his house. That is safe to say. She is influential in his house. That is safe to say. We'll trust the devil in our house. And then we'll go for the thing they're trying to do the most is destroy connectedness. The two movements I mentioned, of course, Garvey's UNIA and the Honorable Malcolm X's Nana Omawale, his OAAU, Organization of African American Unity. If we study, don't listen to me. If we were to study these movements, not study, as the fool said, he didn't get no traction from all of that stuff and he didn't get anything until he came here. Okay, so if that was the case, what does that have to do with the pride that Garvey instilled in people? Remember, you don't get Elijah Muhammad because Elijah Muhammad pulled from Garvey. We want to get around that. Would Elijah Muhammad got any traction and real following anywhere else if he wouldn't have been in America? But it's not about Elijah Muhammad. We are taken away from the thing that can help us destroy this beast. Notice Tariq Nasheed never talks about bankrupting America, never talks about making the downfall of America. He talks around certain stuff to make y'all think that he is a part of this fight. He lusts after white women. Look at that It's Time video. Mink slide. Come on, y'all. Garvey never did a disco video, I tell you that. Malcolm never did a disco video wanting to be Mars Day, I tell you that much. We are allowing paid agents to destroy us culturally. The European worldview is one of separation, one of murder, one of genocide, one of control. The African worldview is one of connectedness. one of togetherness. I'm always gonna give you a book. This is The African Personality in America by our ancestor now. He's an ancestor now, but Nana Kobe Cambone. Nana Kobe, Kobi, Cambone. Read history. Read our story. Hey, if you want to be a Hebrew, be it. If you want to be an indigenous Ninja Turtle, be it. But do you have to shit on other people to make your movement seem better? Now, there's a difference because I, as an African warrior, as a BB-48, I call out other people. I never mix no words about that. Anybody knows me knows I call them, but there's a difference in telling the truth and bullshitting. There's a difference in just telling the truth and saying, well, how can you be serious about liberation? You have a white mother-in-law who you interact with. Let me be clear. I am connected to Europeans in my family, but they're not welcome in my house. They're not welcome in my house. They are connected to me through my son, but they're not welcome in my house. Because what a lot of times people don't understand, what a lot of times is when you come into knowledge, I was a young father. One thing I'm always going to give you is the transparency. Hey, if you want to knock me for that, then do that. But have a real valid reason of why you're knocking me. Some of the youth, they'll say, well, none of Malcolm X was, the product of a mulatto, this, that, and that, as if that takes away from his character. You understood when Chancellor Williams talked about the mulatto problem and destruction of black civilization. But it comes down, at least with me. I'm not saying everybody should think like me. With me, it comes down to what a person does in the time of adversity. You feel what I'm saying? Which side played out more when Malcolm was presented with a problem? Did he say, well, that ain't my issue? Well, that's them girls. Or did he stand? Did he put his life on the line? That's what taught me. How you stand when truth comes. Or how you stand when adversity comes. Where does your truth stand? We're not hearing this from these people. As far as back to the ADOS, how could Yvette Carnell ever lead you to sanity? Ever lead you to sanity? And she's sexually confused. How can they ever lead you to sanity and freedom being draped in the American flag? Being draped in the American flag. Everybody want to talk about the Confederate flag. Everybody want to talk about that flag. But we must talk about this American flag, this Betsy Ross flag. The flag that is stitched on American soldiers when they go kill a village full of children. The flag that they called you anti-American for when you won't stand up and praise it. And you have black people saying, this your flag. The level of mental side. Garvey understood the need to give a flag. us. Fair game. If you want to attack both sides, it's always open. But come with truth and not, Garvey failed. Failed at what? We're not going to mention A. Philip Randolph? We're not going to mention W.E.B. Du Bois? And Du Bois, as the stupid Dane Calloway said, Du Bois. This hatred of African connection. So if you ever really understood, and I hope I'm making sense, if you ever really understood the true essence of Pan-Africanism, it's the continent and here connected. We got to get past Africans don't like us. That's mental side talking. We know. I'm in contact with a couple of people on the continent. I know how they feel about us. I'm not in some grand delusion of everybody love. No, I understand. But what we do is we sit here in the enemy's pot. The same country that's trying to get you primed for vaccines under this American flag. They're trying to get you primed for a vaccine. And instead of us saying, how can we be connected? We don't have allies outside of this country, don't you see? We don't even have allies within this country. How are we prepared to fight? And this is the biggest kicker before I get out of here. So some of the questions I would like for them to answer. For people that says they're Black Americans, don't argue with me. Just answer my question. If you enlighten me, you enlighten me. But answer my question. Don't joke. Don't joan my tattoos. Don't joan. Answer the question. Number one, what is Black American culture? What are the tenets of Black American culture? What are their spiritual, not religious, or you can give me religious and spiritual views that's not connected to anything of African, since y'all don't want anything from Africa. That's not connected to the European American. Show me Black indigenous. Show me Black indigenous. Don't show me Native American. Show me Black American culture. Because Vespucci has to come for them to name America what they named it. Did they not? I know y'all gonna jump around with the America and all. No, stop playing. You can simply Google if you want to just be cheap. What is Black American culture? What is its spiritual systems? What is its indigenous writing system? Its indigenous language? Do you now here's the kicker. Before you just get emotional, do you speak it and do you teach it in your home? Or are you teaching some bastardized version? Are you living some bastardized version? What is Black American culture? We ain't talking about Jay-Z. I mean, you can give me that. If that's what you got, then hey, we'll roll with it. But we're gonna examine it carefully. Black American culture. Y'all have to understand. Y'all have to understand that at the core of this, white skin are spiritual devils. So if you're listening to these Google babies and these YouTube scholars and these YouTube people who haven't told you a spiritual way to fight, you're fucked. You're fucked. So I'm not gonna make this just super long. I probably made it longer than I intended. But just answer some of the questions. And we gotta get out of our emotions. I'm man enough to understand if I'm incorrect, but I'm not in this case. I'm man enough to take if I'm ever incorrect. Be woman enough if you're incorrect. Be man enough if you're incorrect. If you want to tag Tariq Nasheed to this video, whoever, they'll have to answer the same questions. Tariq is a jigaboo idiot, so he's gonna dance around and he's gonna try to talk about my tattoos. He's gonna try to talk about, he's gonna throw you off of what we're supposed to be talking about because they're not serious. They're clowns. They joke. They play. See, while we're dissing Garvey and we're dissing Malcolm, we're dissing Khalid Muhammad and whoever, we're dissing serious black men. Serious black men. I'm not the biggest fan of Elijah Muhammad, but a serious man. I gotta wake up, stop playing. So I leave you in the way I greeted you, in the words of a BB Fahodier, African liberation for African people. To anybody else.